Yay.
Beautiful. Okay, so yeah, we are continuing this conversation about self worth and this feeling of enoughness, as it's been coming up a lot within our lives.
Yeah.
And we've been definitely carrying the load of that, I think, around with us. And it's just been coming up really heavily. So, we were personally just feeling very emotional just thinking about doing a transmission about this, which means that we need it. So maybe you need it too. And yeah, I just pray that it
Absolutely.
supports us. But yeah, we'll share a few words on this experience thus far. And Esther, like right before we started recording, you were saying like maybe you
Oh
can repeat
man.
it about like moving through things a lot with more slowness, almost like more alignment.
Absolutely.
And yeah, maybe just repeat kind of what you were saying.
Yeah. I feel like so we were talking about this idea that the body literally like there's this whole narrative that you have to be productive all the time. And I was telling Aria like in San Francisco, I went to the startup school and everybody was wired with this narrative that if you do not work, like literally skip meals, sleep as little as possible, and work all day, there's somebody out there who's working harder than you and will take everything away from you. And this was a narrative that I saw, and I saw how it unfolded because a lot of those people wouldn't know how to stop. Like, this narrative, it just the momentum kept going to the point where, like, if your default mode and narrative is telling you, like, you have to go because survival, because there's someone running after you, and you have to just go full speed as hard as you can, you have to be as productive as humanly possible, uh, you can't really stop because stopping kind of it literally means like it feels like death. You just feel like
Mhm.
useless.
Yeah, you lose your identity in a sense. Like there's an
Mm,
attachment to the doingness or, these narratives, these things that make us feel or like really feeds into that feeling of not being enough, of
mm,
needing to be worthy, of needing to do these. Like the only reason I'm here is to be doing this, or if I'm not doing
mm,
that, then who am I? And I know that like feeling those physical symptoms that come up that force you to slow down, that force you to stop, that force you to pause. We don't want to get to that point. We definitely don't. And our bodies are always signaling when it's too much. I know personally my body has been in some really big ways. And so I have slowed down and I finally surrendered to my body in like the past month, I would say. And while I do believe at some level that I lead a life that is very loving to myself and where I'm very intentional and mindful of like the actions that I take and the rest that I need. However, I have such a charge and like this
mm.
creative urge and just like this calling to serve that sometimes it does get the better of me and I don't necessarily, balance that out with my physical body. But in this last month, now that I've been prioritizing like yes, you need naps like every single day. Yes, you need to go like sweat and go to a sauna. Yes, you can just sit down and watch this video that's making you laugh and literally like changing and shifting the energy inside of you and still be able to hold space where you are crying and releasing and you're able to go outside and like all of this slowness like as I've been moving into it, it's offered me such productivity in a way. Like
Mm.
the times that I do sit down at my computer and like answer emails and do like the little things here and there, it feels so much better and it takes
Mhm.
so much less time. So, like, even though the progress may look a bit slower than someone that's not resting and not, these things, like, I'm doing it in a way that actually feels really good and aligned for how I'm feeling. And it makes me excited to get to that point, because this is a big part of me, of like feeling fully revitalized, like having that full energy. I don't know what that looks like anymore. So, yeah,
Mm,
it's a beautiful thing to slow down, and it does look different for everyone, but it does offer you more space, it offers you more time, and it allows the time that you're using and the moments that you are going to do things just like so much more ease and joy and alignment, and it's not draining you anymore,
mm,
because you're feeling yourself, or you're recognizing like where your limits are. And it's not, our limits are so different right now with everything going on. Like we're carrying a lot, we're moving through a lot energetically, personally, ancestrally, generationally, um you know
all of cosmically, man.
all
It's
cosmically,
all the ways.
spiritually,
Yeah.
every single way. There's so much shifting. Um, and I know it's something like, especially within the spiritual community and like those making content, like it's something we've been talking about for a very long time, but we're in it. So it's here, it's happening.
Oh yeah.
And we got to remember, you know, that things are, yes, impermanent, but we're also on a bit of a different timeline. We're like our bodies physically are shifting, and
Mm.
um yeah, we're strengthening for sure.
Yeah, and I feel like the bodies, they shift a little bit slower than maybe our mind.
Mhm.
And I don't know, maybe the emotions are like they're also sometimes they feel a little slow as well, but they come and they go in such powerful ways. I think this idea of self-worth is tied with our emotions. It's tied with if we feel good about ourselves, then, we seem to value ourselves a little bit more than when we feel bad about ourselves.
Yeah.
But, and then we treat our body a certain type of way from that, and we may think certain things that will either increase those emotions or decrease them. And I realized, like, okay, we all know that external validation is an illusion of sorts. It doesn't really matter to the soul. But what does matter is the internal validation of, do we say that that external is true? Do we validate it internally inside of ourselves? Or do we search for the truth? Do we search for the light within? And sometimes I think, like, I've realized the demons have been plaguing me. They have been coming up with every single kind of worthless emotion, um this past couple of days, where I just feel a little bit helpless and not even motivated to get out of that space. And I
Mhm.
think that's why this transmission right now, it's like, okay, we know that we're here for a reason. We know that we're here to serve. And if we cannot value what we are serving others, then why would they, you know, value it? You have to first believe in what you're sharing and value it enough to put the energy into, like, any video, any piece of content, any service or good. It takes energy, and you have to value that initial spark to even invest that energy in it. And then there's the doubts afterwards of, was this really worth it? I think anything that is created and you take time to invest is worth it. But again, if you depend on that external sense of validating your worth, then you might find yourself discouraged. Um,
Mhm. You're
it
putting
does
your
take,
power
yeah.
in others' hands.
Hmm. Exactly. And that can be a very dangerous thing. That can be not very helpful, and it's not true. It's I think I realized, like, the first online course I ever made, nobody ever finished it because I shared it with my friends and family. And they saw me as their friend and family. They did not see me as a teacher or a mentor, and so they did not value what I was giving them. And I think this happens a lot where we try to find that validation even in the wrong places because we ourselves haven't really done the work to say, okay, like I got to put myself out to complete strangers that don't know me. That sounds and feels scarier sometimes than people that we know. It's
Mhm.
easier. It's like you'll get the response. You'll know that uncertainty is can be really uncomfy. And so yeah, I'm just looking forward to diving into that idea of self-worth and knowing that the soul is so worthy. And we
Mhm.
can't really put a price tag on any of this. We can't even really, there's no number to amount to the value and the worthiness of your soul and your being.
Yeah, we are a fractal of source. And I think we get to remember that um, when it comes to, these narratives and really like these demons are like the protective mechanisms to our identity, to our ego, to
Mm.
what has been built through generations, through our ancestry, through our own personal lives, and also through the collective consciousness. So for us to come back to this center of our hearts, the center of our spirit, the center of our soul, to remember that we are fractals of source, that every soul is precious. And it
Mm.
doesn't, you don't need to label them as a gift. You don't need to label them as, this specific role or instrument in this harmony of life. But everyone is like inherently a part of this movement, this of life itself. And
Absolutely, I love it.
yeah, and I also about the emotions, like the emotions are also stored within our tissues, within our body, within our joints, it's energy and motion. So the energy likes to hide in these places as well. So when the body is a bit behind in the mind, like the emotions are going to be unlocked as we create space and allow the body to release. And so we feel them. That's why we let them move, we let them be
Mm.
moved. And it's not something we have to conjure up. It's something we just really get to allow in our experience. So if you're one of those people like us that are like finding yourself just crying and just grieving and just feeling like the helplessness and all of these like different emotions arising, know that they're 1000% valid, and that they are moving and that they are transforming, and you have the power within you to transform them. It's your
Mm.
natural inherited state of being. Your heart is pure and inherently pure. Your heart is pure. Your heart is pure. And this was like a reminder that I got when I was really reframing these, not being worthy of so many different things, not being enough, only being seen as like very specific ways of being. And this is what came through was like that my heart is inherently pure, and so is yours. And we get to remember that aspect of ourselves and let it guide us back into alignment when the mind, when our emotions, when our body are really asking us to transform and really create. We are, as fractals of source, we are also co-creators of our own, yes, reality, but like our own perception.
Mm.
So remembering that you have that ability to, reframe and restructure the way that you want to exist in this world, the way that you want to connect with others, and the way that you want to see things. It's okay to change your mind. It's okay to change your beliefs. You can do that. And it just takes one day at a time for it to fully land and become who you are. And this is thus what you get to pass on. And that is felt 7 generations beyond you and 7 generations before you. And that's
Ooh.
like the beauty and power of our ability to just choose, to just recognize that you have that ability of choice and that you are not helpless and that you are in a state of power. No matter how low, no matter how heavy, no matter how dragged down you are, your choices matter. They truly, truly do. and you are 1000% worthy of making the choice to take a nap.
Yeah, one day at a time,
Yeah,
and you
maybe that's what your
choose what is
ancestors
worth.
needed. Maybe that's what
Absolute
you need.
real
Please.
facts, honestly. Cats are onto something. Mm.
Yes.
Cat naps are real. Yeah, the last thing I wanted to note is I came up as you were sharing, Aria, like, yes, one day at a time, you get to choose what is worth your time. And I think like that physical sensation sometimes that we hold within and the idea of what's worth it. If we have low self-worth, we're not going to accept what is, we're going to kind of restrain what we accept. And I
Mhm.
think that leads to resentment within ourselves. And it leads to the clenching because on a level, of course, we know what we really deserve. Our soul knows what we deserve. And that resentment is the anger of like, whoa, why did you not choose what is worth your time
Mhm.
to have, to do, to say, to, feel? And so that that energy, it does kind of build up, and it makes this case of, well, you didn't think you were worthy enough for this, so why do you think you're worthy now?
Mhm. Mhm.
And I think that's going to be fun to break through and address and realize that the narratives of what we believe we are worthy to receive, what we are worthy to achieve, what we are worthy to even believe,
Mhm.
it's going to be it's time. Like, this is the
Yeah.
space that we've created because we know it's time for
Yeah.
us and you, beautiful soul listening. So,
Yes, definitely. I think that we get to meet those parts of ourselves because without some level of compassion for ourselves, like it is difficult to get out of those cycles and out of that like constant resentment or having anger toward yourself. Like this was me like a lot of last year. Like I really wanted to be doing something else and yet I was over here surviving in a place that, wasn't healthy for me and I wasn't making that choice for myself to put myself first and to recognize that like for me to be pushing myself and being angry at myself and like wondering
mm,
why I'm doing these things isn't fair to those parts of me that are like I'm literally trying to have you survive in this life. And I think that for those of us that may be experiencing what Esther just talked about, like maybe this is time for you to meet that part of you that is like, okay, I am making these decisions that are not of alignment. I understand it with my mind, but there's obviously this energy that is still moving through that still finds the discomfort, in those choices. And that's okay. That's a part of the healing process. We get to meet those parts of ourselves and understand, where they're coming from. Um, and that in itself, like to be able to see, this is like that shadow work, basically, to be able to see these parts that are hiding behind what we don't want to go into because we think it's not in alignment. But this is exactly a part of the integration and the wholeness of who we are, is to recognize
mm,
that this part of us that is like trying to distract us or bring us into a place of doubt or self-sabotage or things, like there's a reason behind all of that, that is keeping us alive in some sense. And maybe it's outdated. So to meet those parts of us is, yeah, just such a blessing. But of course, we want to engage our connection to our heart so that we can be compassionate to ourselves when we do meet these part of ourselves. When we do, take those couple breaths to recognize that, like, hey, I know that this is happening right now, like that I am choosing to scroll on my phone rather than actually try and see why I am restless, why I'm not able to really get the rest that I need. And
mm.
to be able to just question, to take a moment of awareness is a huge step. Um, and it just continues from there to remember like the things that do really light you up, that shift the way that you feel, like music. I'll say music again and again and again will literally guide your vibrations. And very beautiful ways, whether it's to release or inspire, and yeah, to get yourself kind of out of you and more into your body sometimes, into your voice, these power centers. But yeah, I'm excited to
Make some music with our
for all that's
soul.
coming through. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you, Arya. There's
Thank
so
you
much more, right? We could dive
so
into this
much. We
idea
could talk
of
for hours.
self-worth. But I feel like, now it's time to settle in and
It is.
start bring awareness. I think self-worth seems to be a bit of a flashy energy connected with the solar plexus. So it's pretty bright. It's pretty obvious to see where you feel like you're coming short, where,
Mhm.
you feel like, yeah, you're shortchanged. You're choosing to do things that aren't in that highest alignment of what you feel you are worth, whether it's how you spend your time, which ultimately determines a lot of things, how you feel, what you think about, and all of the things within the physical. So
Mhm.
gonna breathe into the body and see, where do you feel? What does it look like? I'm feeling a tingling sensation from my diaphragm as I breathe immediately. And I also feel my neck probably tapping into discernment, your decision.
Mhm. Yeah, I can feel in my shoulders and in like the
Mm.
sides of my chest a lot of that having to do with emotions and the closing and opening, this
Yeah.
connection to power.
Mm. And the pressure kind of you feel within relationships to define your worth.
Yeah, and just
Okay.
inviting us all to take deep breaths as you've identified what you are feeling. And even saying it out loud like we have can be very helpful, especially for the mind not to bring attachment, but just awareness.
Mm. I feel in like my shoulder blades. It's kind of like they're saying, "Why do I have to carry all this?"
Mm. I feel it a lot in my arms, my biceps and triceps.
Mm.
Definitely that extension of the heart. And yeah, it's tired. And you're tired of holding. I feel called to just guide us in a few deep breaths. And I'm going to count the breaths. We'll do um, a box breath for about 3 rounds. We'll do counts of 4. So a box breath here, breathing in for 4. You're going to hold for 4. And then you'll breathe out for 4. And then you'll hold on empty for 4. And we'll do that maybe like 3 to 5 times just to regulate for any of us that are feeling a lot in our body right now when it comes to this. So when you're ready, just take a deep breath in through your nose and a nice sigh out. And then we'll begin breathing in 2, 3, 4. Hold 2, 3, 4. Exhale 2, 3, 4. And hold 2, 3, 4. Breathe in 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. Let it out. 2, 3, 4. And hold. 2, 3, 4. Big breath in. 2, 3, 4. And hold at the top. 3, 4. Let it out the mouth. And holding on empty. One more breath in, all the way, filling your torso, your trunk, your belly, your heart. Sip in a little bit more air and just hold it. When you're ready, just let it go. Giving yourself permission to rest here as we offer this transmission. Mandiru Mundiru Mundiru Nandiru Siri unwrapping around you who you've been holding for too long. Kiamoko usi ta nasi kikia shodoma. Anahia latia, the tension, the weight. Gambasi di sharahia takomosh. Anahia latia shakwa, unwrapping, uncoiling. Dia siara kiapo o shurokumbo sa ia takian. Arahi ia la sia takamashi arakia. Arahia sia guata. You will learn and remember how to reweave. Kia la sia tatiara como shurahia andasia dakian. Angambasi natiara ugobu ungobu. Andi I sarahi I kakwa anasia latian. Letting yourself breathe.
Stay. 예야마도시야마도시안 예야마도시야마미야미야미야미야미야 미야미야미야미야 구시 You are God's child. You are Christ. 우시궁 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 Ikundarabata iyumbarkutututu tukutushumbukumbrashampo tutukundeano kundo Ketado setado setao ya 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 Peeling back the mask of humility you thought was protecting you. Nikataun Rushukitrum Yapopri. Papa. You have utmost discernment as you clear these energies. Kubrubambata shingru lulu pumbrikoto shingo komtre shingo dayan lotru shimpa. Kiton dripishindi titi tungruba palete chumbru pundu trashimpo kotata chungru shimpo kupatata. Valuing your ability to reclaim what is your worth. Yandro shumwamba Yamata tate tarokondo shuyam. Ushi tan torutikondorili torile bote. Eko de ba chikinda rutuko tembo. Utin the giti shinko to rishambo. Galata richundro bablendo to kondrashim brokata and turgochuchinkatarundre pescatapa. Finding balance, receiving no more or less than what you deserve. Kudrushim pokototo, understanding. Gale, to you deserve. Kudrushim kotrapashim papa, kudrushim papa. You receive. Kanito, kanito, kanito. With the grace. 우람다도 빰빠도시 어시비 구 아이야우 눈을 감아나고 미사오아 미사오 주로도 뿌르꾸띠엔드리션바 Opening your palms, allowing them to release and receive. lamotto shialabu kune nana. Tukutupinde, tekatututu kundrushinga papa kundrushompo kundrushinga. Acknowledging the lower entities of worth. Some are burning. Honoring their purpose. Yeehaw. Unihanana. Ooh. Sinomona. Dasinomana. Releasing. Ooh. Ayanono. Enamo. Receiving. Ooh. Anamo. Shahiyahu. Shahiyahu. Mm.
Mekiyama sutoko shayala sianatiam. Maki ina si usho usoko ushoko 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 mu uru. Kunduru. Kunduru. Offering the space to breathe and to be. And taking a few breaths, some deeper breaths into your body. Your inhales filling your body. And as you exhale, letting go and releasing what is not serving your highest and best good. Just let it all fall away. is ready to be just released, to be dropped at this time. Let it be dropped, let it melt away as you exhale. And taking that breath one more time. I invite you
Mm.
to intend or even physically embrace yourself in whatever way that your body could use at this time. Maybe a nice wrap around your shoulders or hands over your heart or your belly or your sides. Or perhaps you sit with your hands on your lap, internally giving yourself the sweetest hug of support, of love. Maybe even speaking, saying aloud something sweet to yourself. You could say, "Thank you. I love you."
Thank you. I love you. You are worthy.
Hmm. And yeah, just really take your time. If anything came up for anyone that they're like, yo, I need more of this, journal, drink some water, go sit on the earth, take a rest, take a moment. Try not to rush out of this energy, take it with you, and whatever you're feeling and experiencing. And we'd love, of course, to hear your experience, what you're moving through, to hold space for what is alive within you right now. We're in this together. Yeah. Thank you.
Really. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. This is beautiful. And I know me and Arya were debating if this is even worth sharing with other people because ultimately we did this for ourselves. But if we do share it with you, other person, divine time, then please do share, any reflections in the comments. And if you're looking for more how to join this space in the future, check out the links in description. But yes, thank you so much for being here and thank you for doing the powerful energy work.
Hmm. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. So many blessings, showers of love, big heart hugs. All right. We'll be seeing y'all around, Starshines.